Hey guys, how are you all doing? I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. I will already say this, if you're not into watching someone ranting about buzzword,
building buzz,
and jargon, better to skip this video. But if you decide to stay around, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a comment. I think my opinion will be
very unpopular,
but that's the beauty of YouTube, isn't it? Being unpopular is also good. I wanted to just spend some time talking about the overuse of
slow motion
and calling it epic B-roll or cinematic sequence.
We're talking about cinematic sequences, cinematic sequence,
cinematic B-roll sequence,
epic cinematic vlogs or B-roll sequences.
We're talking B-roll.
Cinematic sequences like these.
I absolutely don't have any issues whatsoever with the use or even the overuse of slow motion. Everything is nicer in slow motion, isn't it? For example, I find Philip Bloom's videos quite beautiful, really, and they are almost 100% all slow motion. In a lot of ways, it's a great way to cheat when you don't really have a story. Just put together several slow motion videos of people interacting with each other or playing in the park, and there you go. You have a very nice slow motion short film. Then at some point, people just start stringing out slow motion shots and call that a short film. I've done that myself. But even more than that, thanks to influencers like Peter McKinnon, Matti Hapoya, we are starting to hear more and more about
cinematic B-roll sequence.
I actually love their content, and if you don't know them, you should totally check them out, and I'm leaving a link to their channels on the description. I think they do a really good job at delivering beautiful imagery, but exchanging the word beautiful for cinematic, or, you know, that's where things get a little bit sticky, in my opinion. But let's get into the cinematic stuff in just a few minutes. I don't personally have anything against filming a lot of slow motion shots and putting them together. What I find weird is actually announcing, let's go watch some nice B-roll or some cinematic sequence.
Dude, you ready to cue that B-roll? Let's do it. Let's go.
And then you sit there and you watch a sequence of shots that tell absolutely no story.
Just a bunch of different sequences in different places.
With some very dope music, and then back to the person who is actually, in fact, telling a story. B-roll in general is used, or at least used to be used, to clarify or depict what's being told in the A-roll or the main storyline. Right now,
cinematic sequences
is becoming its own thing, which is great, and I'm totally in for it. And people are making really beautiful shots, but a lot of times at the expense of really telling a story.
Long story short, we hear a story too good to be true.
I don't know, at least for me, it feels like that's like that sometimes. Where I really end up having a strong opinion about is to call those B-rolls
cinematic sequence.
Okay, why cinematic? Is it going to be used in a film or cinema, or is it just because it's emulating what we would see in a film? I think it's the emulation. But then, if you really think about it, films aren't really a collection of slow motion clips stringed out together without telling a story, right? What I'm trying to ask here is, why the word cinematic? The other option is that it's being called cinematic because of the combination of letterbox and a heavy color grading. Maybe. Actually, why don't you leave me a comment down below and tell me, in your opinion, what you think cinematic mean? A friend of mine said, and isn't that really just semantics? Or would you have an issue with someone calling it dramatic as well? Which is just a synonym. Since I'm not a native English speaker, let's deconstruct that a little bit. What does semantics mean, first of all? Semantics is the branch of linguistics and logic concerned with meaning. Basically, the meaning of a word, phrase, sentence, or text. Okay, so semantics is all about the meaning of a word, which is not far from what I've been asking. Why use the word cinematic.
I think you misunderstand the meaning of the word.
Let's see what the dictionary tells us about the meaning of cinematic in this case. Cinematic is relating to motion pictures, having qualities characteristic of motion pictures. Alright, that brings us back to cinema and film, emulating those, I think. And what does, in this case, dramatic mean, if we go back to my friend's message? Dramatic, relating to drama or the performance or study of drama. Sudden and striking, exciting or impressive, and intended to create an effect.
That wasn't nearly as dramatic as I was hoping.
I think the word dramatic fits a lot better than cinematic.
Are you sure?
But you could possibly use cinematic as well.
I suppose so.
But why don't we see more the use of dramatic then? Exciting, impressive, intended to create an effect. That's pretty much what all of these unmotivated slow motion sequences are. Beautiful images put together with impactful music in order to excite, impress, or otherwise create an effect on the audience.
The movie goes on, and nobody in the audience has any idea.
I think it would be a lot more true to reality to call it a slow-mo sequence or a dramatic sequence. But then, we don't really have the clicky-baity buzzword of cinematic, right? Oh wow. What really attracts clicks nowadays? Well, I don't really know because I don't have a very successful YouTube channel.
You know nothing.
But I think it's to talk about stuff that people are passionate about, like cinema. And if you tell people this is what cinematic is and you can do it yourself, then people will click. They will like it.
I like it.
They will copy, and then they will be very happy that they are producing cinematic content.
Yes, man.
I think we've been using the word cinematic interchangeably with good looking. And of course, cinema in general is good looking, so not such a big problem there. But my suggestion is that we call stuff for what they really are: beautiful slow motion sequences. But there is nothing of cinema or cinematic in those sequences that I'm talking about. Anyway, that's absolutely just my opinion. I think we are living in a world of buzzwords, and I think I just gotta adapt to it. So maybe soon you guys will end up seeing some
Cinematic B-roll sequence.
here too. Well, thanks for watching, and I think I see you in the next rant. Bye.